Do you ever face that challenging question from athletes who only want to use their insurance? I'm going to help you conquer that in this video. My name is Dr. Garcia. I help cash-based and sports physical therapists improve their clinical outcomes and thrive in their clinical practice. Now, when we look at why athletes want to use their insurance, or maybe they're a youth athlete and their parents want to use their insurance, you have to understand that just like you, it's instinct. It's the only thing I know, and now you're trying to break the mold. And maybe you work in an in-network, out-of-network, or cash-based setting, and maybe you're trying to provide wellness services. You're trying to provide strength and conditioning. You have a speed class. You have a strength and conditioning class. You have a Perform Better program. Whatever it is that you do, you might have athletes that you know you can help beyond what insurance can provide, and you might struggle. And you might instinctually say, well, it could be covered with the super bill. It would be like, well, you're going to get worse care through insurance. Basically, you're countering what their problem is instead of understanding and attacking it from the real direction. I'm going to help you understand this. So the real root is people always search for three different things when they are looking for a service or a product. There's only three things that they can look for. And it's going to be the best or highest quality product or service, most convenient, or the cheapest. Those are the only three things that you look for when making a purchase decision. And most things can be categorized within that. When a person says, I want to go through my insurance, it doesn't mean they want the cheapest. It just means, I'm not familiar with what you're talking about, and this is what I'm used to. And you instinctively say, and you go towards, well, if you do the math, you can go to 12 sessions and pay a $40 copay, and then I can do that better in 3 minutes. That's not what they're looking for. The problem is that they truly believe that was cheap. They just said, I don't understand this, and you really haven't conveyed that to me. So don't counter with that. When you look at an athlete, maybe it's a parent telling you, or a pro athlete or a college athlete, if they're looking for your services, it's probably because they want to be the best in their respective sport, in a respective category. So what does that mean for you? If you really think about this, there's only a few athletes who don't want to be the best. And if they're coming to see you, they want that. So if they want to be the best athlete, they probably want the highest quality service to help them get there. So I said there's only three categories: cheap, convenient, and best. So they're clearly looking for the best because they came to see you. They're saying it's expensive and they want to go through insurance because that's instinct. The question is, how do you help them solve that you're the best candidate for them? You're the best physical therapist to hire. It comes down to a very simple process here. When people make a decision and looking for this service, instead of countering with insurance-based things, or you want to empathize and figure out, well, understand them and their pain points. So the best way you can do this is, what are the things that brought them to you? What is the decision they made to go out of network with you or seek services with you? Then the second part is, what are the things that this current injury is limiting them from? What's the current problem that they have? What's the pain point? What's the fear? So maybe you're at your initial evaluation and this athlete wants to be able to use your services. Their parents are there. They're skeptical of you. Number one, figure out how they came to you. Why do they choose you out of all people? Maybe they read through your bio. Maybe they saw that you're the soccer expert, you're the pickleball expert, you're the pitching expert. That's fantastic. So now you know they want the best because of your notoriety or your qualifications. So they know that they want you. Most of the time, if you can agree with me, most people think that going through insurance is quick and easy, but then they quickly find out it is an absolute hassle. So if they're going out of network or they're going in network with you, but they're going this wellness program or your cash pay, you have to understand they're probably coming to you for convenience because it just seems easy. So they're agreeing that you're the best, and they're saying it's probably easier and more convenient to go through you, but they're instinctually saying it's the cheapest. So how do you overcome that? Well, the second part is you have to understand what their pain points are. So let's take a soccer player with an ankle injury. Now, from a clinical standpoint, you can address an ankle sprain very quickly. You probably get them back to the pitch in 4 to 6 weeks. You can do that in your sleep. Now, the question is, why would they choose you over someone else to get them to that same path? People make a decision to go out of network because they want something different. They're clearly looking for the best, looking for convenient. When you choose those three things, anytime you make a purchase, you can't have all three. You can only have two. So with them saying cheap, you know that they're not trying to go through insurance because they interviewed with you or they went to the eval with you. They're interested in making it a little bit more hassle-free. They said you're the best. You can't get cheap when you do that. So how do you solve that? Look at where their pain point is. So now, for instance, if you say, hey, you have an ankle sprain and I can get you better in 6 weeks. Well, they might come to you and say, well, we don't have 6 weeks. We only have 2 weeks because he has a tournament. It's a statewide tournament and there's going to be college scouts there. Oh, now I understand. That is the root. You don't want cheap. You want can I do this for you? Can I get this ankle sprain back to full playing in 2 weeks? That is the real conversation to have. It wasn't that you were looking for the cheapest. It was you understand that insurance is the normal way to do it, but your insurance wouldn't allow you to do it in this short time. Or I'm looking to get my son or daughter strong over the summer because they have a college scholarship that they just got, and I want to make sure that they're healthy all year long. So the fear or pain point is if they don't do this, they won't get the college scholarship. And the first example is if they don't do this, they won't play the college tournament or the high school tournament that has college scouts there. That is the pain point. So rather than saying, well, you can get itemized super bills and it's one-on-one with the doctor of physical therapy and there's no aides or technicians, that doesn't resonate with I have a college tournament in 2 weeks, or I need to stay healthy for my scholarship for next year. So what happens is a physical therapist, you're just communicating improperly. You're saying, I really don't get you, but I'm going to hit you hard with what I know from the medical side. It's actually cheaper and more cost effective. That's not what they're looking for. They're looking for the best and most convenient. You are that. So solve that. Instead of saying all those other things, say, I understand what you might want to go through your insurance. Here's what I can do. I can lay out a plan that I can see your son or daughter 3 times a week, this week and next week, and I can get you 70 to 80% close to playing on the pitch. I would work with them. You have my cell phone number. I'll email you daily programs. I'll have objective measures to show you progress to ensure that your son or daughter has a successful tournament. I can't guarantee that they're going to play 100%, but I will get them as close to as physically possible then. The other person with the college scholarship, listen, Mr. and Mrs. White, I understand that you have a son or daughter who has a college scholarship. What I can tell you is I'm going to create a whole year-long strength and conditioning program with ebbs and flows of rest periods to line up with their soccer practice or with their baseball practice so that they're not overly fatigued. I understand the sport. And what I'm going to do is I'll put that program together. We'll modify it every single month. They'll come in to see me twice a week for the next 4 weeks for the first block, and every single month we'll start to adapt that. Once we go through that, you'll see your son or daughter with less injuries and hitting with more power. That's what I expect from my program. What that does is it attacks the thing that they want. But what you normally do is go towards why insurance is bad, why the doctor's bad, and why they're going to fail and spend more money. That had nothing to do with why they chose you. So you have to figure out why they chose you and what's the fear, the problem or concern that they have. Attack those two things. Why they choose you and what is their pain point. Why they choose you, what is their pain point. Do those two things. Now that will help you overcome that question of, I want to use my insurance. Well, I understand everyone does. That's just natural. What I don't want to do is attack you and tell you that I'm better just because of these things, or I have a new ultrasound machine, or I have a new shockwave machine, and that's why I'm better. The reality is somebody can get shockwave down the street as well. The difference is you have to understand them. And once you understand them and showcase that, that person now sees the value in what you do. So instead of fighting with, one-on-one for doctor of physical therapy, no aides or technicians, the best shockwave in town, none of that resonates with that. So as you work with that athlete, you work in clinical care, it's not that your skills are better, it's your understanding of them is better at first. Once you get that buy-in and commitment, now you can deliver on all the skills that you have, everything you spent thousands of dollars, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars on, why your hands and your programming and everything else is unique. They can't understand how all that training translates to how do I help my son in the next 2 weeks. I know that sounds tough for you to understand, but they don't see it from your lens. You just see it from yours. And if you continue to see it from yours and you communicate that way, this person over here doesn't understand that and they walk away. And all you say to yourself is, well, good luck to that athlete. They're not going to do anything better. The reality is you're a poor communicator and you're not a good physical therapist. You have the clinical skills to do that, but you cannot convey that and communicate to the person who needs your services and wants your services because they chose out of those three. They wanted the best and they wanted the most convenient. They just said that they was cheap because that's all they know, and they can't get those. They can only choose 2 out of those 3. And what you don't say is, fine, if you want the cheapest, go ahead. What you do say is, listen, if you're looking for the best, you want your athlete to be the best, I can do that via this plan. If you want the most convenient, so that way you don't have to go through the hassles of insurance, I'll be communicating with you regularly. You have me by your side. Those two will win the argument of it's cheaper, because value always trumps costs. And once you understand that, you now have a schedule filled with athletes, and you know how to counter that ethically without feeling bad about yourself or salesy. You just understand humans and how they make decisions. So there you have it. Enjoy that, implement it into your practice, and you'll have more athletes not even questioning whether you need insurance for your new wellness program or your strength and conditioning programs. Enjoy. Hi, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification for my weekly tips on treating cash pay patients, becoming that expert in your community, and thriving in business. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.